welcome back to Hooligans Pitch, episode 60. We back. It's gonna be a good one. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm getting over a little something, so we'll see how long my voice lasts.
Okay.
But that's not stopping me from busting out.
Yeah, dude.
Voodoo Ranger Tropic Force?
What?
I came across this last week, actually, but then wasn't feeling that well over the weekend, so haven't been able to try it, but it's a tropical IPA, still 9.5% though, so yeah, we're going in.
Yeah, man, you ain't sick. 9.5. I'm gonna look like a little weenie over here. I am starting out with an all-day 4.7. Basically
nice
water.
Smooth.
Yeah. I'm trying to hydrate tonight, and coming off the dry spell, this has been a nice welcome back.
He's back in.
And I won't lie, I had one February 1st, and I could feel it. So that's how off I've been. Is there pineapple in that one? Because I'm interested.
It doesn't really say. I'd have to maybe look on the box. It might give more deets, but yeah, tropical IPA, so I'd assume they probably went the pineapple route.
Curious. But let's jump into it, Chad. We're going to skip to the Premier League match of the weekend that we've all been waiting for. Probably the most watched match of the year, especially in 2024 if we're looking at it that way. Arsenal versus Liverpool. Most of us know the outcome. It was a little spicy in this house, but I'll let you take it away here. Give the people what they want. Tell them how you feel, because I know the answer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, leading up to this game, it was, I'd say, nervy. I was feeling a little nervy. Not only because it's been Arsenal Liverpool going at it a few times within 2 months or whatever. So it's a quick turnaround between these games. So tactically, it's been kind of interesting to watch how each side tried to adjust. But yeah, once the game started, it felt pretty good. I like that. Well, I don't like, but for you, it was nice that there's no goal within the first 10 minutes. Got over that hurdle.
I mean, baby steps.
Barely.
Barely.
But I mean, yeah. Arsenal looked very good first half. I feel like Arteta in recent games has been kind of getting the jump on Klopp's tactics, but then Klopp has been able to adjust mid-game to kind of, pull out the win and be more competitive at times. This time, I don't know that happened enough. It might have been down to just some personnel missing, or some players maybe not fully fit. Like Trent coming out was a big surprise, I think, to both of us. But I mean, yeah, see Arsenal go take the lead 13 minutes in. That was good. That got some of the nerves out. I was feeling better, but long game to go. But to see Arsenal just so dominant and in control that first half was nice. Of course, up until the last 30 seconds, where Saliba has the ball. He's probably expecting Raya to come out for it. Raya, I think, maybe feels it's maybe too far with Diaz right on Saliba's back, so there's miscommunication. Diaz, rightfully so, pokes his toe in there, and just the most unfortunate deflection off Gabriel's hands, which I think, had he not touched it, I think it probably falls to Jota anyway.
Yeah.
So, going half 1-1 was frustrating, to say the least, after, a half that saw Liverpool get a goal with 0 shots on target. So
amazing.
If you're going to win the league, you certainly need the luck, and that was maybe the sign of Liverpool's luck. But luckily for Arsenal, that luck kind of ran out there, I think, for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe want to break it into halves here.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'll give you my quick little rundown here. You kind of You nailed the key points here. I think this is a little bit of a depth issue. Of
Mhm.
course, we're missing our key faces on the
Yeah.
team. Now, this personnel looked somewhat the same against Chelsea. No, Chelsea, Arsenal,
Yeah.
two different like solar systems. If we're looking at it that way, they're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. But we handled business there, and I think here, I don't know. It's like the moment got the best of us. I think we can both agree this was for both teams. This was not our A games.
Yeah.
The goals that you let in, that 9 times out of 10 you're clearing that ball or doing something else with it, and I would have to say the same for our team on
Yeah.
um I mean, I'm not saying your goals, a goal is a goal, but the goals that you scored against us look like some of the easier goals that teams have scored against Liverpool.
Hmm.
um you know Rebound goal, poor decision making with Virgil and Allison, and then Allison letting one go through the legs on near post. That was like I was like, what the hell? Like, this isn't why you're the best keeper in the world. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah.
So frustrating to watch. Yes, we were missing, Szoboszlai, Salah, Trent coming off, Thiago going in like crucial key moment of the game. He hasn't played since last April. I'm like, it was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I will say losing 3-1 against Arsenal is a lot better than losing 3-1 against Burnley or Crystal
Sure.
Palace. Or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if we're going to lose a game, let's lose this one. Like
Yeah.
that, like we're still in first. That's fine. But yeah, not our best showing. I don't want to say I like saw this coming because we've obviously haven't lost in months, but I'm glad if we're going to lose a game, this is the one to lose, and then we can start another
Hmm.
streak and go. So that's kind of my brief summary, but let's break it up kind of in that first half, and for me it was slow, dry, obviously no shots. felt
Hmm.
like felt like our defense was going to have to be the one to kind of make sure nothing else was kind of going to happen, and for the most part that was the case. I feel like we let Arsenal control the ball, control the game, but we were pretty locked in.
Hmm.
um the rebound goal, it's like Allison played that fine. He saved a Havertz kind
Yeah.
of
That was not
breakaway,
on him anyway.
and yeah, and it's just unfortunate the ball went where it went, and that happens. So the team kind of looked at each other and knew that a goal like that is just no one's fault really. The
Yeah.
path.
I mean, if anything, yeah, I'd say it's not anyone's one fault, but it was certainly a strange decision for Virgil to like step in so hard to Odegaard.
Yeah,
I guess maybe he didn't see Kai starting his run, or thought Konate was going to be able to track it easier. But that was, I think, the most surprising part of that goal was just like that one like big moment from Virgil to not kind of hold his ground,
mm-hmm.
and like which might have been, tactically it was like if Odegaard picks up the ball in your zone here, like press him hard. Um, but I think then maybe Arsenal was prepared for that, and that's when Kai starts his run.
It was a great run.
Um,
I'm not taking that away
Great
from him.
run, and I think ideally Kai scores that goal rather than it being a deflected goal, but that's kind of been Kai's finishing so far this season is either spot on for a game or just kind of meh.
And that's that. I wasn't. Honestly, it was like, all right, like shoot it. I wanted him to shoot it.
Yeah, if you want a
And
one-on-one, Kai's probably the guy you want to be facing, right?
absolutely. And we looked confident on the save. It just
Mhm.
bounced the wrong way. It could have bounced anywhere
Mhm.
else, but it didn't.
Oh yeah,
That's what happened. So, 13 minutes in, that was. My goal was to not have a goal in the first 10 minutes, but I'm going to extend that, I think, next time to like 25 minutes because there's no difference between 13 and 10 for me.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
of course, that second goal was just weird Arsenal defending, lack of communication. Don't know what was happening there.
Yeah, it was just a strange moment. I think it was right at the death of the first half, so maybe players are a little bit like, all right, like whistle will be blown here any second, and minimally checked out for that split second, and that's it, not only Premier League, but especially when you're coming up against a top team like Liverpool. Like that split second is obviously one that counted and leads to a goal. But I mean, so then at half, 1-1. Are you feeling any better, or is it
Oh
still?
yeah, no momentum. I felt like momentum shifted a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm a huge believer in momentum, and if teams can, especially at halftime, if you come in just scoring a goal at halftime to bring it even, and Liverpool being the team that scores or has attained the most points after
Yeah,
being down, like that's just our mo. We're a second half team. That's
yeah,
I feel like same question to you. How did you feel going into half? You had to have been a little like, oh boy, here it
yeah.
comes.
I mean, I'd say I was still feeling pretty good at half, just because Arsenal was playing well, and limited Liverpool in their creativity and everything. But yeah, certainly a tinge of uneasiness in there now that we gave up a stupid, easy defensive error goal, which is not all too common these days, but always seems to pop up against Liverpool, and I just have like memories of like Mustafi and Firmino just like tearing him apart and stuff. Like got like war flashbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I knew coming into that second half that if Arsenal came out slow, Liverpool was going to be all over them, and it like almost kind of was that way.
At first.
Um, yeah, I think Liverpool came out like looking pretty spicy. Um, got some good opportunities, but just couldn't find the back of the net.
No, Trent had some good crosses in the box too that
Hmm.
just again couldn't find the right person to finish them, and then we didn't we kind of missed over the PK op though, which we should probably talk about.
Mm.
You know, interesting, weird tangle of the legs that of course is unintentional. Uh, the more I watched it though, I kind of do lean in the favor of that being a PK, just because
Hmm.
like the contact was kind of initiated by McAllister, but for me it was also Havertz seemed just a little out of control. That's like, so it's like, where is that fine line of like, like not controlling the ball but having your body lean one way while your legs were kind of, I want to say his legs were, it was like baby giraffe legs almost, like they didn't look like they were running in a straight line. They were definitely kind of wobbling
Well,
out, but they were tussling bodies. So I like,
I mean, yeah, he kind of makes his quote unquote cut in, and then yeah, ball definitely goes I think further away from him than he anticipated.
right.
But then it looks like he kind of makes the reach to get the ball. I think maybe slightly touches the ball, and then like the legs start to get tangled, and I can kind of see the arguments both ways, but I keep when it's a foul in the box, I try and think like, is this a foul outside of the box? And I think that probably gets called a foul outside of the box. Um, so I don't know. To me, it was a penalty. In
One,
the
one more point that I want to make. It was really hard to tell like who ran into who because the legs were
Yeah,
just so tangled. It's like did Havertz touch McAllister's legs or McAllister's leg touch Havertz? Like, of course, I understand they touched each other, but like
yeah,
how it's so hard to say who initiated that, right? But I feel like the attacker should have some, uh, some leeway, right? They're in control of the
mhm,
ball. They're the ones who should, if they get an entanglement, have that opportunity to still score or have the opportunity for a penalty kick. But that it would have felt really harsh in that moment to
mhm.
give that. Um, I'm happy it didn't go that way, but like the more I watch it, I was like, okay, I probably would have been upset too if that was my team. So I don't know.
Yeah,
It was really close. It wasn't clear and obvious. And we've seen so many other PK opportunities where it's like, what the hell was that? How is that not a PK? And this
yeah.
is one where I was like, I don't know.
See, that's kind of where I got hung up on it too. Is like we've seen the ones where a foot gets barely touched and they fall, and it's a PK, and like I felt like this obviously more contact than that, and more in the realm of a foul than just like touching their foot and
Yeah.
they fall. But I mean, I I thought it was PK in the moment. I still think it probably should be. Um, I mean, glad that it didn't really come down to this,
Yeah, me
but
too.
um, I was kind of surprised it didn't go through like a lengthier check process. So I don't know whatever they saw. Yeah, they don't communicate with us, so
Yeah, whatever it might be.
yeah, it would be nice to know. And I guess we eventually will hear that and see what they saw. But it did surprise me. It was just like a quick little stoppage of play and check and
Hmm.
kind of moved on quickly, which is nice. But it would also be nice to just hear your reasoning.
Yeah. So yeah, we go into the second half, and our subs come in a lot earlier than I thought.
Hmm.
Um, bringing in Robertson, who hasn't played in a long time. I understand the Harvey Elliott decision, little spark plug in there, but then
Hmm.
Nunez didn't get the start here because of his foot bruise.
Hmm.
And so I was kind of surprised to even bring him in here. Just I guess I kind of understand the desperation and the need for attacking, but um, I don't know. If they say he's injured and not they don't want to start him and then bring him in later, it's like don't risk this guy's injury for just this one game because we like of course a win's important here, but this wasn't a must-win game. Season depends on it, right?
Yeah.
So to risk arguably the guy who's been having the most opportunities at goal, I thought that was an interesting move to bring him in, and then of course taking Trent out, which I felt like that was our I don't know.
Yeah.
He was doing so much work. I mean, he's the only guy who was putting in balls in the box, especially in the second half. So to do that
Hmm.
13 minutes in, I was like, I was like, weird.
Yeah. For me, that just kind of signaled that you know, Trent's not really been playing. He's been injured or whatever, and Bradley's been in there. And then, Bradley has to miss this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Trent was probably just not fully fit.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, I saw Robertson coming on and assumed, we were just getting Trent and Robertson on the wings again, like, Liverpool of old.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bummer not to see that from like just a fan
For
perspective of the
sure.
game. And I think Joe Gomez didn't necessarily have his like best game compared to like how we've seen Joe Gomez step into these roles and kind of put on a better display. I think he's kind of struggled on this one. But yeah, I think it was just a change of necessity. Like Trent was trying. Trent put in some great crosses, and I even texted in the Discord at the time of like I didn't like how much time Arsenal was giving Trent to get
Mm-hmm.
these balls in because it's he's certainly one of the main creative threats that Liverpool offer. So yeah, certainly good from Arsenal perspective to see him go out, but like for the game as a whole, it kind of sucks always to see a good player go out early when they had more to contribute. I think.
Yep. Yeah. Not having Bradley either, coming off of peak of his, peak game of his
It's
life,
on fire.
and then
Yeah,
his dad passes away at
yeah, it's
58.
rough.
That's crazy. So, um, I don't know. Maybe spirits were low after seeing a kid go through that
Could be. Yeah,
in the
yeah.
dressing room, and motivation was kind of weird. Um, and then the Virgil and Allison mess up on the Martinelli goal, man. That was just like, what the hell? After that happened, I was like, oh, I didn't want to throw in
Yeah,
the towel, but I was just like, what? I was like, this is not what I'm used to
that was
seeing.
just that was just so like such an uncharacteristic moment from both of them. Like normally they're both very assured in their defending and shot stopping and Allison when to come out and all that and again I think it was just where Arsenal had a miscommunication. Now Liverpool had one and
Mm-hmm.
um, I think Martinelli being kind of right there in it definitely didn't give them time to think
For
and
sure.
fully
Oh yeah.
react. But just such a surprise to be gifted a goal in such a way.
Shocking, dude. That was so bad.
Yeah.
Uh, Probably one of the worst goals. That's why I said it was Karius levels. I was like,
Yeah.
it brought me back to that moment. It was just like, what the hell was that? And then the Trossard goal, great move, great initial move to get on the break.
Oof. Yeah.
But I watched that goal back. He didn't even put that much power on that shot. He just placed it between his legs,
Yeah.
and I was like, strange for Becker to not have his knee dipped down to kind of block that, block his legs from being wide open, and his angle, his positioning was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think he looks at that again and saves it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, I think he was mentally probably not in it this game, and that's okay. We go again. It's the second loss of the season.
Yeah.
Missing Endo, who's been on fire. Like, I can't wait to get him back. I thought McAllister had a pretty good game here too.
Yeah. He looked okay. He got some decent shot opportunities too. So
yeah, he had one hit, I think outside the 18, where I was like, please, I remember he hit. I was like, please, and
I need it.
I think it was hit right at Rhea. I'm pretty sure Rhea just caught it. I was like, okay, not what I wanted, but it's kind of a shame we don't get another one of these.
Let's just keep them going every couple weeks. Like,
I mean, right? Like, they're fun. They're super fun, and now I gotta wait till next year to play all again. Like, that feels three in 1 month here. That was too quick.
It's too quick for sure. And I think game tactics maybe, I don't want to say suffered, but weren't as fleshed out as they could be if okay, you play each other and then you could get a couple months and a handful of games to analyze before you play again, whereas this is just like so back to back to back that you almost kind of just, they threw out their first match game plan. I think both teams adjusted in that second. I think the second one was the FA Cup match, and then it looked like really Arsenal just kind of repeated the FA Cup strat into this one. So I mean, yeah, I think both teams certainly not a performance from either. I think Arsenal just got a little bit more control and was able to just limit what Liverpool could do. And Liverpool just didn't have the depth, I think, to really rectify that, make the changes that they needed.
Dude, when Diaz went into right back, I was like,
well, then that's when you know.
And then when did you see when Harvey Elliott, Diaz was getting hit in the back, and then Harvey just comes, he's like,
let me take that ball. No, yeah, I saw that, and I mean, good on Harvey Elliott to just recognize that situation of Diaz is getting clowned on right now, and let me just take it and get it out of there. But then again, for Trossard's goal, it's Diaz and Elliott closing in on him, and one of you has to do something. You can't let Trossard get out from between both of you so easy. So I think overall fun game. I had more fun, but
I've had better.
Yeah. But I do want to shout out Jorginho. We don't see much of him these days, but I think moving forward in these big games, I think this will probably be the mid that Arteta goes with. Mm-hmm. He just kind of remind me of almost that Xhaka role of, not technically a captain, but is such a leader on the field and constantly kind of keeping people structured and positioned well. And he certainly is able to find the more through pass and take the riskier option, but oftentimes I think his passing comes off pretty good. And I like to see that rather than passing it around in the horseshoe of death that sometimes Arsenal can get into. And it's great to see, because Chelsea definitely need a player like him, and they let Arsenal take him for £12 million or something like that. So
thank you, Chelsea. I will say, taking off Zinchenko in the second half was a smart move. I think he wasn't able to play in the midfield, it seemed like, a whole lot. Maybe that's because Jorginho was there and Havertz was up top, so it didn't seem like he was needed as much. But I just man, when he got taken out, I was like, shoot, now we can't cook him down there anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if Arteta does that more in games where you're kind of even at half or even
I
in the
think
60th or 70th.
I mean, I think most of these Liverpool games would have been a Tomiyasu at left back game, but
Mm,
he's been away at the Asian Cup. And yeah, you saw Zinchenko basically just playing left back this game, which he's a left back, but
you don't want
he's
me.
basically a mid. So yeah, I think it was maybe start Zinchenko and see if it just works out where he can get into those midfield areas and
Mm,
get on the ball like he wants to, then cool. And if not, then Kivior can come in and he's more accustomed to defending than Zinchenko is, and I thought he put on a pretty good display out there. Had one or two little wayward moments, but yeah, it was nice to not have to worry about a Zinchenko defensive blunder again.
against Liverpool, they stand
Yeah.
out. They definitely stand out. When he got the card though in the 60th, this is a good thing. And then unfortunately nothing came of it. Um, but yeah, y'all closed the gap. We closed the gap on us. That's something that I fear that would happen this weekend. And with the City win, this top three
Yeah.
on the table, it's looking spicy up
Yeah.
there.
I mean, unfortunately, the Arsenal winning more helps City than
Yeah,
anyone.
I
But
know.
yeah, it's everyone versus City at this point. I need someone to step up, take those points off them.
God.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can just move into the Brentford game then.
Yeah,
Kind of
let's
start
do
at the end.
it. Yeah, we'll backtrack. I do want to say though, this weekend had the most goals for any match day since 1995, 1996.
Dang.
45 goals.
I mean, yeah, there was a lot of big score lines.
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised to see that. So let's talk about all these goals. Let's talk about how much Brentford let us down, Chad. Speaking of poor defense, oh my god,
man.
what the hell? I don't think Brentford attacked final third. I don't think they played that bad. I think scoring a goal against City is a big deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think letting Foden score 3 on you is embarrassing, especially the way he scored all those goals. Wide
Yeah.
open, wide open in the
Yeah.
box.
I mean, Brentford's defense has been off for a while now. And I was kind of hoping that for whatever reason this would be the game where they finally got back together, and Ben Mee is leading the line back there like he does, and Pinnock has his 14 million clearances, and just wasn't it. Flecken tried to put up
Man,
a performance of a lifetime, and kind of very well did as much as he could, but yeah, the handing the ball to any City player in the box is just bad move, bad defending, and unfortunately Brentford did it 3 times.
that first one though, where Pinnock headed the ball and it just went and even though it goes, I think he did head it.
Yeah.
It went straight up, but even during that time when that ball was in the air, no one went to Foden.
No.
Foden controlled it with his chest and tapped it in. And I was just like, what? How do you get something that easy?
Yeah.
With, I mean, Foden ain't that tall. I was just shocked how that guy was so open almost every time he got the ball.
Yeah, I think they just kind of lost track of him at times, like especially I think that second goal, he just kind of floats between defenders, and KDB has the willpower to find him, and sure does, and then yeah, he's basically wide open there.
But even the Holland assist too, like he was just in the
Yeah.
middle. Holland just stopped the ball. Holland don't assist.
Exactly.
Like to be that open for Holland to pass you the ball, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I think on the attacking side, Brentford, I don't know if this was tactical or just maybe City defenders did it well enough to play Tony out
Man, I
to the
thought the
wings
same
more,
thing.
but
I said, is that Harry Kane?
he was picking up the ball, I think, way too wing side rather than central, and
He was crossing a lot, and I was like, why
Yeah.
is he the one doing that?
it's not where you need him or want him. You just leave him central. I think this is definitely one where you're missing Mbumo on the wing to
Mm.
keep Tony central, but you got to kind of plan around that. Like Tony's big enough, strong enough, I think technical enough to stay central with top defenders like City has and still cause issue. Yeah, so that's a bummer not to see them utilize that more.
I agree. I saw that. It was pretty early in the game too when he took the ball and he dribbled down the right side, and they just said, "Have all this space.
Go
This is
for it.
yours, all the way down," and you cross it in, and he did just that. And I'd like to get his thoughts on looking back at that game and seeing like why did I go so far down the line? Like I think when you were given the opportunity of space, no matter where it is, you take it, and I don't know. They kind of fooled him.
Yeah. I think maybe it was City more just kind of like baiting him a little bit that way of like, look, all this open space, and then he fell for it, and yeah, they're gonna let Tony cross it all day. It's if you're crossing into Neil Mopay, like that guy's not tall. He's not known for his headed goals.
No, City eats him up.
Yeah.
Great run though. Great assist by Flecken and
Yeah.
kind of tricked City there, thinking he was offside, but read the rules, boys. He was clearly on.
Yeah, that was a nice play.
And got our hopes up. I hate that.
Yeah.
That so much. I'm like, oh, they're gonna do it. It would have been 3 in a row. That would have been crazy. For Brentford, but
yeah,
the streak is over. But they do play City in 15 days again.
Oh,
so rematch.
There you go. Keep Tony central.
Yeah, listen to us. So when does Mbumo come back? It'd be awesome if he came back.
Oof, I think he's quite a ways out.
Oh,
I think his injury is pretty bad. But they got to find someone to occupy that right wing spot, because you want those crosses to come in, but you want Tony to be on the end of them, not serving them in. So
yeah,
I don't know who they can move around, or if they just got to, I think they got Reguilon as their right back right now. Like really push him up more. Sure, it leaves you a little bit more exposed, but like we said, I don't think Brentford's attack looked all that bad. It just you didn't have the right people in the right spots.
Yep. I mean, we kind of expected City to win. It was just
yeah.
It would have been nice. Who does City got next? City has Everton next.
Yeah, they let me down in their home game, so I'm not feeling confident in the away game.
Taking Everton this one, yeah, that's fair. We can jump to that one if you want to maybe start at the beginning of the week. I just want to
sure,
keep it relevant here. Everton Tottenham, interesting game. Good draw for Everton.
Mm-hmm.
Bad draw for Tottenham, especially giving up a goal so late.
Yeah,
and a slop goal at that. But I do want to bring up last time Everton played Tottenham last season, where Richarlison scored 2 against Tottenham, and to see Richarlison score 2 against Everton, it was fitting. He didn't celebrate in front of the fans. He really wanted to. He really thought about it.
Each time he's like,
wait, I'm not gonna do it. And so I credit him for that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the first goal Everton got though. And the way goalkeepers are getting bullied, and I use the term bully as I'm gonna say a legal term. I think it's fair to tussle and fight, but I've seen too many goalies just take it and act like they're gonna get a foul. Keepers, it's time to fight back. It's time. If someone's pushing you, it's time to push back. Get your positioning right, because it's how many times are they going to call a foul on a keeper? Probably they're not going to call the foul on the keeper.
Yeah, unless it's like some egregious thing. I think you could get away with some decent pushing
for sure,
and it falls under the keeper protection umbrella.
Exactly. And so to see their goal, Everton's first, because I think it was Calvert-Lewin that was pushing into
I think so, yeah,
into Vicario, and just pushed him in the box pretty much.
Yeah.
And it led to a Jack Harrison just deflection and whatnot. But I don't know. I was like, I feel like this is happening more and more. We're just seeing keepers just getting pushed by anyone, and it's leading to open goal scoring opportunities. Um, I don't know. I just want to see that. I just want to see them not act like little weaklings out there, and
Yeah.
not be on their heels. But you know, so I was.
Yeah, I think it's, they need to, right? You want the keeper to command the box and make their presence known, especially on a corner kick. Like that should be easy bread and butter for you. Run out, jump and grab it because you get the extra vertical of reaching your arms up, right? Like, so if someone's in your way, they're gonna have to maybe go watch some like NFL highlights of people getting past blockers and windmill and pass them or something. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
swim move.
you got to do something because I think the days of any touch to the keeper is an automatic foul are clearly coming to an end. I think that's probably for the best, but I think keepers just got to catch up to that a little bit and don't be afraid to get into that tussle and
Or sell
really
it better. I mean, this dude
or sell it
he
better.
just
Yeah,
fell over backwards. I mean, he just
yeah,
got like pushed back and like his butt went into the goal and he rolled backwards. And
yeah.
if you at least fight for it a little more, it's gonna look like okay, like he's trying to stay on his feet here, and the
Mhm.
defender is not letting him. This is just a very bad example of a keeper giving up too early, I think. And then
Mhm.
of course when he's trying to complain, it's like, well, you looks like you barely got touched and you fell over. And like maybe not barely got touched, like I'm sure he was getting hit pretty good, but refs make these decisions now where it's questionable, so
Mhm.
why not fight back a little? And I'd be shocked if a keeper did something to where they're pushing back or shouldering another player and that player goes down and they're ruling it a PK. Like that's
Yeah.
probably not going to happen.
I think it would have to be a very clear, like almost like a horse collar yank down situation for that to
Sure.
be called.
Punch to the face, elbow to the head, something
Yeah,
that looks like it's been doing like you were trying to hurt someone. That's
yeah.
when
I
when it's
mean,
going to go too far.
at the very least, it's the keepers now should realize, okay, well, they're getting away with pretty much boxing me out, so you can at least go back with the same force and
Mm-hmm.
push through them. And if then they're not ready, they're not strong enough to stay up. That's just a power difference. You guys are both going at it. Like it won't get called. I think and if it does get called, it's probably still in your favor because you do still get some more protection than outfield players. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if someone catches on or what. But clearly, I think the protection is not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah. Yep. Times are changing. That's okay.
Hmm.
Did you catch the Castle Luton game?
Okay, so I started out watching Brighton Crystal Palace because remember last week I was like, Crystal Palace just popped off.
Mm.
They're playing against the Brighton team that just lost 4-0 to Luton. Like, it might be a good game. And then Crystal Palace comes out with Eze out with a thigh strain, Elise on the bench. I was like, it's not a great start. So I watched until I think Brighton got their second goal, and I think by that time it was like 2-1 in the Newcastle Luton game. So then I flipped over that one right away.
Good move.
Yeah.
Much more entertaining game in the long run.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Man, Luton let that go. They fucked up.
Yeah.
Now, credit Castle. They never gave up. They always, I think once they got that fourth goal, Luton stopped putting the gas on, kind of let Castle take over the game a little bit, and that's not the team Luton is. Luton's a team that's gonna scratch and claw and bite their way to a victory. They're not the ones up 4-2 with 20 minutes to go. It looked like they didn't know what to do, and I think it showed because honestly, once the game was even, Luton looked like they were going to win the game again.
All right, let's go back up again. Yeah.
So pretty confusing if you ask me on their mentality there, but good game. I think that's it's a sign Luton has possibly what it takes to
Mhm.
stick around. Castle played most of their guys in this game too, so it wasn't like a you know a poorly rated squad for Castle that came in here. Everyone was seemed to be there and active and playing hard. I guess Isaac was probably the only one who didn't really get in that we're familiar
Mhm.
with. Um, but dang, Luton had it. I think the defending there was kind of
Yeah.
dreadful. And I think it was either Castle's third or fourth. The play leading up to it, I'm like 90% sure. I think it was Barkley who
Oh, it
got
was the
fouled.
fourth. It
The
was the fourth.
fourth.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got fouled there, and they never brought it up
Yeah.
again. And I was like,
Because yeah, he's controlling the ball, kind of turns into the middle of fields. I don't know who it was on Newcastle. Maybe Bruno. Kind of almost steps in with like a hip check.
mm-hmm.
Catches Barkley, who then stumbles as the ball's getting away and like tries to get back up and get to the ball.
That
Um,
was really sad when he was crawling.
yeah, it didn't look good, but play to the whistle, right? So he didn't hear a whistle. So I guess he's still trying to get to the ball and probably just clear it at that point. But then yeah, Newcastle take over, and I was surprised it wasn't called back for a foul because that ball was certainly not won cleanly. Like I don't
No,
think
not at
whoever
all.
that Newcastle player was, I don't think they even touched the ball. They just kind of checked through Ross Barkley.
Yeah, and Barkley had his back to, I guess, the attacking goal, so he didn't even know that player was really coming. I mean, he probably sensed the player was coming, but he was
Mhm.
fully shielding the ball. The ball was definitely at his feet, and that player just came in and rocked him. And then,
Yeah.
maybe he didn't hit him super hard, but he definitely didn't. It wasn't a. It did not look clean. And then,
No.
and
Yeah.
then they never referred back to it, and I was
Nope.
kind of,
Everyone was cool. Like they were fine with it. So I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, maybe we're wrong. Like there wasn't enough of a, even a complaint too much on the field. It looked like from Luton players. So, um, but it on camera certainly looked like a
Mm-hmm.
clear foul.
In real time. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I've determined Longstaff and Harvey Barnes are the same player. Long lost twins. I honestly, when I watched these goals back, and I was like, wait, I thought that was Harvey Barnes. And I was like, oh no. It's like, dude, there are similarities, but they look really similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hairstyle, kit,
Oh,
height.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, very entertaining game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there's certainly signs that Luton are growing in confidence and just like feeling better about having a place in the Premier League. And I think they're just one of those teams that have learned how almost to like kind of generate their own momentum and then riding that momentum really well. Um, I mean, like what goals uh, 2 and 3, I think, came pretty close together for Luton. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, they like once they kind of turn it on, they're going, and it's not the first time we've seen that. So they're good at that. I think they just need to almost just keep going with that in this game especially, or then learn how to just like really shut up shop and play the newly promoted side, just pack the box kind of ball,
Yeah.
which I don't think is really in their gameplay and style.
Hasn't looked that way.
Yeah,
But they need to
but
learn it because that's how they would have won this game.
for sure, yeah. So I think of the promoted teams, they're the one that look like they are learning as they go and can stay up. And I mean, you put 4 past Brighton last week. You put 4 past Newcastle. Came out with a draw, but a draw away to Newcastle is still a pretty great result for Luton. Um, just so nearly could have been a win.
Yeah, really probably should have. Um, Looking back, they'll definitely see those two goals, especially the Trippier one where he was just so wide open on his run.
Yeah,
I mean, that dude has his first goal of the season. I mean, it's not like he's making that run all the time, and he just
no,
had an open lane and took it. So kudos on the comeback, but also Luton. I don't think they've ever by 2 goals possibly this season. I think that was
Yeah, maybe not, but hey, next round they got Sheffield, I believe. Um,
mm.
so if Sheffield continues to play like they did, Luton might be up by multiple goals again, and we'll see if they can hang on.
All right, segue. That was Villa, man. If we kind of saw this coming. Like if it was a bounce back game, this was the time to do it. If they struggled against
For sure.
Sheffield, this title race is over. They're still hanging. They're looming. Like what?
Mhm.
What? How many points are they down right now? Six and
Yeah.
6 from the top, but
Yeah. This was another one of those games where I turned it on. I was like, I didn't really want to watch it, but like I didn't have anything else going on anyway, so I kept it on. And then it hit 3-0 at like
30.
10 minutes in or
Was it
something.
10? Was it that quick?
Oh no, 20 minutes in. It hit 3-0 at 20 minutes in, and then I just turned it off and went upstairs and didn't continue to watch it because Sheffield was just offering nothing and did not see any Luton fight, right, to even give me a hope that they could get back into this game. And obviously they did not. So
Yeah, they're pretty bad, man. That's
yeah, they just they look like a team that's already like, all right, we're relegated, like just go out there and get through this game. Like they don't have that spark or like
they got nothing.
any real like no real bright spot I'd say. Like they definitely have moments where like a player looks like they're gonna pop up and maybe finally kind of try and get something done, but just nothing's working. So I think they're probably the one you can guarantee to go down at least.
Oh, 100%. Chad, their goal differential is -40. The next closest is -23. That's Burnley. So like the gap between 19th and 20th is huge.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet my bottom dollar they are getting relegated. 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see if this will be like a nice springboard for Villa to kind of get back into their groove. They got Man United at home next week, so going from a very easy competitor to now a tougher competitor. I'd like them to kind of get back to their, if not winning ways, at least like doing a handful of goals and stuff. Like they've been on this rough patch, and that's not the Villa we've known this season.
No. Again, maybe they started a new tournament in their head. Emery gave them how many games he got left now? 15. He says 15-game tournament. We'll go 5 at a time. That's how I think they need to start running that team. So, but Man United and West Ham just gave us a dud.
West Ham just not on like a free fall, but like
yeah, what are we doing?
A not good. Certainly an out of form team.
Their last win was against Arsenal, and that was a crazy good looking team that day.
Yeah, and that team looked like they
top 4.
They knew what they were doing.
Top
they
4, for sure.
They were pushing through that top 4, and Arsenal actually play them away next weekend, so we'll see if they can reignite something. But with the way they've been looking and looked in this United game, it's just the signs are not good. I mean, I know you were missing Kudus, who finally came back for this game.
Yeah, that can be huge.
He looked lively. He looked good. But I think just I don't know, something in that West Ham. I don't want to say it's like all missing Paqueta, but maybe it is. I don't know.
No, I think that's a fair point. I mean, it definitely helps the attack, right? Bowen starting up front is not what they're used to.
Yeah.
They're trying to make something work with the players they got, and if we look at that squad from the Arsenal game, Kudus and Paqueta were playing on opposite sides of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Kudus likes that right side rather than the left. He could swing the ball when he crosses a shot in to go to the far post. And here it's like, I don't know. Paqueta's a big deal. I mean, I think City wanted him. Like, he's that good of a player, and to not have him for how much longer? A while, right?
March? I think March is his estimated return, so they got to figure something out. Like, I get that he, does bring. He's kind of the Bruno Fernandes for them, where he's like all over the pitch. He contributes defensively, contributes creatively, even gets a goal here and there. But you got to figure out something because this ain't working.
No, haven't won since December. Yeah, that can't fly, especially when they were pushing top 5.
Yeah,
he's set to come back. Paqueta the 17th.
Oh, okay.
It'd be kind of crazy if if he were to come back in a week. That would be shocking. But
yeah,
if he were to come back for the Arsenal game, I think that would make it pretty interesting. I hope he does.
I mean, I think teams often don't want to risk the quick return of a player, but in this case, you kind of maybe might need to at least like start him for as long as he can go, and just try and get the goals then, and if you have a lead, protect it with your life. But he seems to be the missing piece, and they brought in Calvin Phillips. I don't know if you've seen his 2 performances, but they've been pretty abysmal. Yeah. This game he gave away a ball for Man United's 3rd goal, I think. And the game before this against Bournemouth, he straight passed it to Solanke, and it's not looking good for him.
He's got to be so rusty and so like in his own head, right? Of
sure, yeah.
What am I as a player after being so dominant as a central midfielder? I don't know. He's, of course, the talent's there. It's just he's got to find it again. So West Ham's a weird spot for him. I feel like they're so, added depth, sure, but it feels like their core midfield is kind of set, right?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is most of our conversation about West Ham has been like, how does David Moyes find the way to get all these midfield star players on the pitch? And then once he did, that's when they were like really lighting it up.
Yeah. He said, here's another. He's like, what? Unless he really wanted him, but
yeah, I mean, I think he can work as like cover if he kind of finds some form again. But I mean, if I'm him, I'm not expecting to get much starting time over Souček or Alvarez.
No way.
It's, I guess, what he's used to. He didn't really get any starting play time at City anyway. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for that one.
Yeah.
Let's bust out Burnley Fulham really quick. Nothing too crazy here, I think.
No, yeah.
Congrats to Burnley for getting the draw, and Fulham.
Oh, Robinson's crazy assist though.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was just. I don't think he meant it.
No.
I think he probably meant to just like clear it. I don't think he meant to clear it necessarily upfield. But hey, it worked.
It worked out.
It's on your resume now.
Yeah, fifth assist of the year.
Yeah.
I want to see him go on a good team, man. I still think he can be a really good player.
I think he might move here soon. Like, he seems not have outgrown Fulham, but I think he's becoming so important to kind of Fulham's attack that I think the teams above Fulham are probably looking at him to bolster their, wing back selection.
Sure. Not sure who. Brentford, if they want to go back to Rico Henry and on the right and play this 4-man back, I think that'd be a really fun team for him to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not right now because they're
Yeah.
not looking so hot. But just trying to think who could be a left back, or what team could use a left back that's just so attack heavy. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think you're right though. I think he has outgrown Fulham. I think that team needs a hard reset. And you could probably get a good penny for him too.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, just selfishly for like USA purposes, I just want to see him keep going up.
Yeah.
He kind of was getting a lot of stick there for a while of like not being able to defend and not be good on the attack, and I think he's looked like he's improved both ends of that. Maybe more so the attack, which a lot of teams will take, right? Like your Trent Alexander-Arnold's like, is he the best defensively? No, but he's like serviceable. But if you know that, you can kind of build the system
Mm-hmm.
to cover that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he would go, but I think Fulham is his days at Fulham are probably numbered.
Rightfully so. What else we got here? Oh, Bournemouth Forest. I think Matt Turner is never to be seen again. We talked about
Yeah,
this a
this is
little
not a good
bit.
sign.
I think when a 31-year-old keeper is now taking your spot, I think that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, bummer.
Short-lived.
But I don't know. Maybe this new guy came in and doesn't do it, and Matty T gets another run.
It's possible. I mean, I just got my Matty T jersey, and I
Oh,
should have. I didn't want to wear it today, but I got it. It's in my possession. I will rock
okay.
it until I can't. I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
forever. But damn.
Yeah. Hudson-Odoi, great goal
Oh,
here.
great
I don't know
goal.
if you saw
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
nomination.
Yeah, for
So
sure. He it's that lovely little FIFA shot that we know of,
mm-hmm.
curler from the top of the box. Yeah, it didn't leave Neto much option. He just slotted in perfectly. But overall, not a whole lot going on in this game. Gio Reyna made a debut. Didn't
Yeah,
really do much though, but
not enough time for him to really get in
yeah.
and do much either. But he made the field. That'll make me want to watch them. It's just unfortunate now the other American's not going to be playing with him. It's like
Yeah.
no chemistry there. Okay, Chad, we have one game left, and I know we're dying to talk about it because we love to shit on Chelsea. And
Look, they do it to themselves, okay?
Chad, this team, this was the game where I was like, they have to at least show that they can be competitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lose to Liverpool last week. You get absolutely dominated. Fans are saying, oh, it's Liverpool, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you go against the Wolves and you let in the same amount of goals. Bro, without their top striker, might I add. So now you've gone 2 weeks in a row without the best attacking player on their team. And then you have Thiago Silva trying to chase Neto.
This poor man.
Bro. You saw when he was trying to catch up to Neto on that.
Yeah. Thiago, I appreciate you being the only one trying in this Chelsea team, but just
pull one out for Thiago.
Look, yeah. You've played a long storied career. This Chelsea ending to your career is fading fast. So just, I don't know, fake an injury, ride that bench, just cash the paycheck, and you don't deserve to be done like this over and over.
No, he is now officially the third oldest Premier League goal scorer we've ever had. He's won just about everything.
Yeah.
This is your golden years, man.
Yeah, you're living in London or like outskirts of London. You're in a great area. Just you don't got to deal with the stress of trying to get these kids to do something out there. Just ride the bench, say nice try, guys, in the locker room, and enjoy your
So
family
bad.
time.
Dude, this team is awful. They're so lucky they have Cole Palmer. They're so lucky City
Oh
said
my
we can't
gosh.
find a place for him, because if they didn't,
Yeah. I don't know what they do.
I mean, he's their top goal scorer by now, right? He has to be at this point.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, he has 10 on the season. Next highest is Nick Jackson.
Oof. 3 of those came from that crazy Tottenham game.
So put him at 4, then it's Sterling again with 5. So without Cole, you're missing a big part of your team, and Boley's just getting ripped on the internet, and rightfully so. And now they're at the point, Chad, where they can't even fire Pochettino without possibly breaching financial fair play rules here. And what do you do? What does this team do?
I don't know. They've almost just like spent and worked themselves into a corner where they're just stuck, right? Like if you can't even sack your manager with the threat of breaching financial fair play, like that's a pretty big alarm. But then also like, okay, you sign on a lot of young guys. A lot of them will take time to kind of get up to the level you need them to be. But if you're seeing some that just aren't going to make it, or you don't want to take the time to get them there, I don't know how easily you're going to be able to sell them when they're all set on a 8-year contract.
It'll be
Like,
pennies on the dollar.
yeah, it's funny to watch from the outside, but
Hilarious.
it's just so
Bleak.
frustrating that I think to see any team go through like such a harsh transfer of ownership and just like downfall, and like it kind of sucks that it is an American coming in and trying to revolutionize how contracts are done in the soccer world, and it's kind of blowing up in his face as to why it's not done that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you see his baseball deal he gave out a couple months
Well,
ago?
I feel like that's maybe his MO right now,
He's
like
trying to big brain
trying
things.
to big brain the contracts and just sign the best players for like not a lot of money until X period in time, right? Like
He's broken
um,
baseball.
mm,
Owns the Dodgers. He broke baseball. He signed 4 players and basically did this whole like, we'll pay you $1 million
yeah,
for the seasons you play, then we'll pay you 99% of their contract when you retire. If they don't win anything, they'll be laughed at for all of eternity. But he's doing both baseball and soccer the exact same way. He's buying these big name faces for strange deals and hoping it works. And this is blowing up in his face. I hope it replicates in baseball,
yeah,
but it's kind of shocking he's doing the same type of things after seeing this isn't working here. And it's been 2 years now. He's spent over $1 billion. He has the most losses in Premier League since he's taken over.
yeah,
It's pretty dark blue,
yeah.
if you could say.
Yeah. Even if you were to sack Pochettino, I don't know who you go to. Do you call Frank up? Say, Frank,
Hey,
we
Frank
need you.
Blue.
You won't get paid much, but we need you. Like,
You like
'cause
internships?
I don't know. Like, people keep throwing around Mourinho getting a third stint. I don't know that he would even want to take on this project because you're coming into just like a shit show already. You don't even have much of a experienced like leadership core to rely on. I don't know where they go. I don't know. Down certainly, but
They just keep going down. They ain't gonna get better. What's gonna make them better?
well, and that's the thing too is like they can continue to try and sign these young players, but if I mean it would be hard to be a young player and Chelsea comes to sign you and you're like, oh, like I'm 20, 21 and can play in the Premier League, like of course I'll sign. But I don't know, maybe you look at it now and see the promise that Mudryk was, and like he's playing, but clearly not at Premier League level, top end Premier League level um, ability yet. Same with Enzo and Caicedo. Like they looked great in their previous teams, but that wasn't a team full of like unproven young players, right? Like
It's structure.
Yeah. So
and Messi.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and still Conor Gallagher is maybe one of their brightest prospects, and he still has not signed a new contract, so he's probably leaving in the summer. You gave Jorginho away, who would have been a great leader to have in that midfield.
Man, for sure.
They're shipping out the expensive old experienced players for the new cheap ones that I guess in an ideal world you mold to the player you want and can get that team firing for years because they're all so young, so they'll grow together. But I think it's been a quick and rude awakening of just because maybe their stats look good on the data sheet doesn't necessarily mean that matches up in person with all these players.
I just hope if this is what they're doing, patience is still the key model.
It has
about
to be
them, because
yeah,
if they don't rely on patience here, this was just going to blow up in their face more. But we knew that Chelsea is not the type of team that's patient. They bring in coaches for 2 to 3 years,
yeah.
They win something and they move on. That's kind of been what they've been doing since 2000, mid 2000s,
yeah,
around there roughly. And I get it, different owner, American, not used to this type of season with a bunch of different tournaments. Learning curve for sure, but I think he's learning his lesson now.
Yeah, just
or not
$1 billion late, but
or he's not learning anything.
Or not.
This will continue to happen for as long as these contracts go for.
Yeah, I think they almost have to keep playing the patience game. They didn't really do it with Potter, which fair enough. Like it wasn't working out, but Pochettino is a good manager. You've seen what he did when he was at Tottenham. He made them competitive. I forget where he went after that, but PSG. So like PSG's a hard case just because they walked the league anyway, and then struggled in Champions League. But
he had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, so he at least had he had a locker room. He had a control. So
I think he's respected enough to kind of be the long-term manager for you. But there's got to be signs of life somewhere. And honestly, you watch a Chelsea game and if they win, that's surprising. That it feels like you're watching like a Sheffield game where if they win, that's surprising.
Chad, their last 3 wins: 1-0 against Fulham, 3-2 against Luton, 2-1 against Palace.
Yeah, so
2-0 against Sheffield. That's their last 4.
They're beating the teams they should beat, but but it's not saying too much.
Barely at that though, barely.
Yeah, and that too.
They got to go against Villa. Then they got Palace. I'm sorry, no, Villa's in the FA Cup. Then you got Palace, Man City. Tottenham, Chelsea's getting postponed. I wonder why that is. We got the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. And then you might have a little easier time against Brentford, but then you pick right back up again. You got Castle and then Arsenal. I don't know, man. This team is going to be a bottom half team for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm running out of thoughts and words to say about this Chelsea team because they just every week seem to be the same or worse.
It's like a rinse
Like,
repeat.
yeah, like they've got their handful of wins here and there, but most of those have not looked convincing. Their best game is, a draw against Man City, which, credit to them, it was a great game from them and played well. But I think that was maybe more Cole Palmer like having a point to prove in that game, and
For sure.
it unfortunately hasn't translated to the rest of the games. So I don't know. Wolves look great. Pedro Neto's back out there doing his thing.
Wolves did look good.
Can't wait for Huang to get back and see what they can do together.
Wolves have direction.
Exactly.
And I'd say about half the teams right now have a direction.
Mm-hmm.
And the split between 10 and 11 right now, I think if you look at the table from 11 down, not a lot of direction. But
Yeah,
10,
I think
10
that's
and
pretty
up,
fair.
I think 10 and up, give or take Brighton, just because Brighton and West Ham really, you don't really know what you're going to get. Everyone seems to have some type of direction. Even Man U right now is getting they're getting Hoyland moving, Garnacho, like finally things are clicking there a little bit. They're not, the Rashford focus is gone for them now. It's like the other guys are in the spotlight now for the better. And we could probably say something about every team from 10 up, like, okay, this is the direction they're moving in. And you go from 11 down, man, Chelsea, not sure. Bournemouth, Solanke's good. Fulham, no. Palace, no. Brentford, unfortunate injuries. Defense is missing. Forest, yikes. Luton, okay, like,
Yeah,
that's the
maybe
one.
the one. Yeah.
Everton maybe shouldn't be right there, but haven't
Yeah.
won a game in their last 6. Burnley, same kind of thing. Sheffield, done.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to read this table.
Yeah, I mean that was a great split, and I guess kind of fairly works out too, as top 10 should have a direction and some momentum, whereas bottom half is all floundering. But for Chelsea to be down there now multiple seasons is
Inexcusable.
I mean, yeah,
For
for
the
what
money.
Chelsea was like, and all the money that has been spent since the transfer of ownership, like, I get it. It's a different Chelsea ownership group now and board and all that, so it's not the same spend big. If we didn't win, we'll get in the people we need to win and win. But like, there's got to be someone with some form of like soccer brain in that ownership board room group that can direct this team, because right now there's just not.
So, well, you listen up here, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I feel like I said it last time. Like, if I was a Chelsea fan, I don't know if I would watch anymore.
I don't blame you. But we will. We'll watch.
Oh yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on them and
Love
their
it.
downfall for much longer.
Got, 3 more months of this.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, we nailed all the games here. Should we do our nominations?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's start with teams. Let's do team.
Teams.
Why
Okay.
don't you take it away?
I got 3.
Oh, wow.
I got Luton up there again.
Yep.
Didn't get the win, but really took it to Newcastle away from home, which up until now it looked like Luton at home was the 12th man sort of deal. But to go and do it away at Newcastle, which is pretty big ground, pretty hostile to come into, I think says a lot. Ideally would have got the win, but it's okay. I also got Wolves down, partly because of their midweek match against United and also the Chelsea match. A little bit the same for that midweek match of like, you came back and nearly stole the draw from United, and if not for an incredible goal, like,
I know
it went the other way. But then to really find the momentum in that game and keep it rolling into this Chelsea game, and you know, take advantage of a struggling Chelsea side, which also sees you move above them in the table.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're doing pretty good. And my last one is Aston Villa, just because they got the bounce back game, but it was Sheffield, so they're really like an honorable mention for me.
No Arsenal in here,
No, I mean it's a big win,
bro. What do you
but
mean it's a big? You took down number one. Dude, I'm insulted. If you beat the number one team in the league, I think you should, give credit where credit's due.
it's fair, but like I don't know, it stood out to me, as an Arsenal fan. But then I like when I try and make the nominations, I'm trying to step back a little bit
Nah, bro,
more.
you're like, it's just Liverpool, whatever. Fucking easy. We do it
No,
again.
no, 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 not like that. But that because I'm an Arsenal fan and trying to be more neutral on this podcast, like I feel like I hold them to a
Okay.
little bit higher
All
standard
right.
for the
All right. Well,
nominations.
I'll fucking say it. I think
Yeah, I
Arsenal.
want you to say it.
Yeah. Damn. I think Arsenal deserves to be team of the week. Taking down Liverpool. Of course, it wasn't a full strength Liverpool, but no excuses. Liverpool is the number one team in the league for a reason. You get dealt these things. You deal with it. There again, my nomination. I do think we got to give Man United some flowers here. This is their first clean sheet since November. It's been a long while. They did it against West Ham, which if you would have told me they would have held West Ham scoreless, that would have been a really tough sale.
For sure.
Considering Kudus is back and what he can do on the attacking end, which he still played great. How many take-ons did he get this week? 5 or 6?
I think it was 7 actually.
7. Wow. So he was,
Yeah.
he ain't scared to take you one-on-one and dribble around you and go for it. So those, and of course Luton Castle, but I think if Luton would have won that game, it would have been surefire.
Easy. Yeah.
So I think Man United actually gets my my nod here, just because they played arguably pretty good, and pretty good's being, I think, too humble. I think they actually played really good, and like if they can do that every week,
they're starting to find their way. I mean, they got a lot of guys back from injury too, so maybe we're finally seeing their like true starting 11.
Martinez, Casemiro.
Martinez
again,
actually
right?
just went out for like 6 to 8 weeks. It looks like so.
That really, I almost picked him too.
Yeah. So more time for Maguire in there, everyone's favorite,
Right.
or Johnny Evans. I don't know who you take there,
coin toss.
old or like doesn't know how to play. So yeah, I mean, all good shouts. Yeah, you make a good point with United.
One of two clean sheets this week.
Even with the midweek match against Wolves, they almost threw it away. But I think for the first half of that game, they played really well, and they kind of let Wolves back into it. Yeah, I'd be okay with United.
Sold. Player.
I've got a list, so if you got.
Yeah, I mean, for my list, Garnacho is definitely on there, scoring 2. But I think my player's got to be Richarlison. I think if Spurs don't have him on the pitch, they lose that game.
True.
I think him coming back to play against Everton and scoring 2 and not celebrating in front of those fans and trying to stay humble, becoming kind of likable. He's on 10 goals now in the year. I tried to look up today how many goals Harry Kane had at this time last season. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it, but this is definitely telling me is can he be the number 9 for them for the foreseeable future, because he is young. I think there's a chance. So those are my 2 that I at least want to start with, and then you can hit me with yours.
Yeah. I mean, the other like notable ones that I want to shout out is Cunha gets the hat trick against Chelsea. One being a PK, so not as incredible, I guess. Richarlison definitely up there. He's found his his shooting boots. He can get a shot on target again
Yeah,
finally.
he was
So
hitting him. He was hitting him.
yeah, so he's looked good. Like you said, Garnacho's definitely up there as well. He's I think for a little bit looked like more of the impact sub kind of player,
Mm-hmm.
and now it seems like he's kind of taking that starting role and actually putting in the work and getting the numbers. Um, Only because you have subbed him out of your fantasy league. I gotta shout out Watkins. 1 goal, 2 assists. It's
Ah,
against Sheffield, I know, but like I feel like he listened and he was like, "Fuck that guy! I'm gonna turn it on." And
bro, just the curse of the Watkins. He's done that to 2 people this year so far, where we kick him out of our team, and he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna burn you now."
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I don't know.
he's like 10
I mean,
assists. He has a lot of assists on the year now, right? 10.
I think he's. I got it right
Yeah, he's
here.
on 10. 10 assists,
Yeah, 11 goals, 10 assists. So
double double.
I don't know. He's clearly a listener and needed the motivation of being removed from your team to really get the
Oh
spark going.
no, we should tag him.
Yeah, but I mean, between all those, I feel like I'm probably leaning Richarlison just because Tottenham itself did not play well. And like you said, I
Yeah,
think Richarlison not there to make those goals happen. They probably don't win this at all. So
I don't think so. Um, yeah, we'll give it to the Brazilian. Why not?
yeah.
For goals, I got 4. I think they're all pretty good bangers. Start with the Richarlison one. That's on the bottom of my list here. But then I'm gonna
Hmm.
rattle off 3. The Bailey goal for Villa, I thought was
Oof.
fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
The Tielemans goal was hit so hard. It hit the woodwork, and I can't believe it bounced in and stayed in. But damn,
Hmm.
did he got a rocket onto that
I feel
ball.
like that goal, it like reminded me of Tielemans on Leicester like years ago when like everyone wanted him. Like
Yep.
I don't know where that guy's been, but he had a little resurgence in this game, and
Hmm.
I'll be interested to see if he can kind of pick up off of that.
And then the Hoyland goal for Man U.
Hmm.
I thought that he had a really nice move to free up some space, and then got a nice hit on it. So that's probably my number 1. I think that one and Bailey, just because
Hmm.
of the placements. But Tielemans for power.
Yeah. I like all those. I got the Hudson-Odoi goal.
Oh yeah, that's a key one too.
Yeah, it doesn't bring him the win, but gets him a draw, and he kind of gets that shot off in between a lot of players, and then I don't know if you saw Mateta's goal, his
Mm-hmm.
headed goal.
Yep.
That was pretty nice when it's
Got up.
not right on frame, and what maybe 10, 12 yards out, and gets a nice header to it. So I think any of those could honestly take it. Do I think mm, I think between Bailey and Hudson-Odoi, I kind of lean Hudson-Odoi just because he's getting pulled on a little bit. He's kind of fighting for it and still gets a great shot off. Um, so I think it's probably Hudson-Odoi or Hoyland's goal for me.
I think Hudson-Odoi is fair, and that he's not really a goal scorer. I mean, he's scoring, but not anything special like that. So that was for him. I think the quality there. It's important that he can at least prove it to people that there's a possibility. Get his foot
Yeah.
on the ball, and anything can happen. Yeah, that's cool with me. And then last thing we got, Chad, meme of the week, and this was a good week. We got some good content this week.
Yeah.
The Gabby and Nunez hug, that was so lovey-dovey. I
That was
hated
nice.
it, but I loved it at the same time. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, this is 2 competitors who are showing some love. We can kind of go through. Actually, I can't pop up Discord right now, but I mean, my winner is the finger in the butt. We don't choose
That's
a
just,
winner, but did you see what the hell?
yeah, that's just crazy. I don't know if you saw Ocampos came out and said like he wants that person to be punished like the same as if it was like racial abuse because like what the fuck.
I don't blame him for that at
But
all.
like yeah, I'm totally fine with that because that's just I mean one you shouldn't be reaching over and touching
No,
players or anyone
but
anyway. But then to like do something so I mean I guess kind of bordering on sexual
for
assault, right?
sure,
Like
yeah, 100%.
so that was certainly wild.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
I
When I
think
read the title, I was like, "No way!" And that dude straight up sticks it in his butt.
yeah, yeah. I got the Discord up here, so our other meme bangers. Arteta saying Zinchenko and Ben White are now sharing
Oh yeah,
wives
that was special.
after their little tussle.
That was interesting.
uh, Klopp getting the phone call from the
Mm.
dentist mid press conference.
Shocked he
I
didn't
really thought,
answer.
yeah, I really thought he was going to answer as well.
Yeah,
So, maybe his dental news is more
yeah.
serious than he wanted to
It's
let on.
private. It's private.
And then maybe not my favorite. I mean, I think the finger in the butt thing takes the cake, but as Anthony Taylor's mic pack or whatever is not working, Ramsdale in the background
Oh yeah,
doing
that
like
was
you're wasting
good.
time,
That
ref.
was
Come on.
good. I wish he would have had a makeshift yellow card or something that he could have pulled
Yeah,
out.
yeah. He really
Um,
should at this point. He's not playing any games, so like
hey
get some
man,
props back there.
yeah, they're all winners. All winners in our
Yeah.
book.
Oh, always. Yeah.
Um, nice man. I think we nailed it. Hour 30 in. Uh, good chat. Good talk. This is episode 60. We're officially in our golden years. Let's ride it out into the sunset, baby. Next week we got just Saturday, Sunday games, no midweek games. We'll be on that schedule for a little bit here, and then we'll be in the final third of the season where it's just go time.
Yeah, it's quickly coming down to the wire here, and it top of the table shaping up basically as much as a soccer fan could
Let's
want.
go.
Tight,
Yep.
close. It could go either way at this point. So, still everyone against City though. So
Yeah.
anyone listening that has influence over teams, please figure out a way to take points off City.
I don't know any City fans, so that's a good start.
I don't think we have any real fans anyway. So.
All right, with that, episode 60 in the books. We'll be back next week, Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh yeah.
We'll see who wins, Chad. I don't know. It's kind of crazy out here. Go Niners.
Yep.
That's all we got to say to that. All right, episode 60 with that. Hooligans pitch. We're out.
Peace.